welcome to episode 93 of Illuminated Rounds. How are we doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Hang on. Oh, let's turn down. Right, I think I can hear you still. I'm very distracted because I had a shave, and for some reason, I've got a bigger bit of moustache here. Obviously, I've got a very manly moustache, but does it look like it's clumping? I don't know what to do. I haven't got a moustache comb. So I know quite how to.
So the thing that's going through my mind right now is: are we recording?
Not only that, this is top quality content.
Yeah, I haven't shaved for a couple of days now.
Yeah, you don't have this problem I have with this manly bit in the middle. Let's do it. Anyway, let us know.
I don't hear about your manly bit in the middle.
No one's ever talked about my manly bit in the middle. Let me tell you. Lots of complaints about my shirt. One vocal complaint about my T-shirt last week.
Yeah, but to be fair, it was a well-founded complaint, wasn't it?
I mean, so obviously this time I'm just gonna, shrink back into my black top.
I actually thought it was a bit thin because it was quite camouflagey, wasn't it? So I thought maybe there was a war theme there going on.
Do you know what? Nicole went to. I talked about this T-shirt before. Nicole went to Singapore a few years ago, and she brought it back for me. And she brought it back as a joke because it cost like $2. And she was like, "Look at this! It cost $2." I loved it. It's still my most worn shirt. I love it. But anyway, not unlike this John Lewis T-shirt. But anyway, right. Enough of that. We've been playing ASL. Mm-hmm. What else have we been doing? Anything else?
So I've been playing several people besides yourself. I've been playing Alex, the only known player in Wales.
Still
at the
the
moment.
Welsh champion.
Yeah, absolutely. Welsh champion. So I've been working our way through that Arnhem sequence, the 6 scenarios from that. And that was good fun. He's relatively new. Well, I say he's relatively. He's been playing a couple of years now, but he doesn't get to play very often, so it's all like once a month. And I also saw Nick Ranson. He came over to my house the other day. It's always brilliant when Nick comes over because we go out for lunch, have a nice lunch somewhere. And do you know what? When we first started doing that, it would cost like 12 quid to kind of get lunch for both of us or something. Like 45 quid this time. So it's kind of
he's gotten onto the fact you're paying.
Well, we do usually take it in turns, I think, but it's partly inflation. I think but it's also inflation of how ambitious we are in terms of what kind of lunch we have.
It's at the start when you meet. So I know that we know Nick for years, but when you start going, everyone's very like, I'll just have one coffee and maybe a water.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, it's like we're having dessert.
He's going like this, Martin's paying. Let's have another coffee over here and a cake. Whatever.
Yeah. Cake and a coffee. It's decadence.
No, Nick's very, very generous as well. It's like we take it in turns. Whatever.
Good,
but,
good.
I wouldn't want him to be embarrassed.
Far be it for me to ask what you actually played in ASL, but did you play any ASL with him? And
yes, we did. We played a game. We played a Schwerpunkt scenario, quite an early one, and I can't remember what it was. How awkward!
I can't even guess from that description. You've narrowed it down to 150.
Americans, Russians, late war.
Okay.
It was called the Relentless Tiger. Oh no, the Reluctant Tiger. Reluctant Tiger, and it's really interesting because the tiger is virtually indestructible in the scenario.
Yep.
But there's a special rule because the crew are nervous.
Yes.
If they get hit by in the hull by a bazooka or a 75 gun, which normally wouldn't be that much of a threat to it, they take a task check. If they fail it, they're recalled.
So I have played it twice.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't remember. I was playing it with. I've got a brilliant memory for scenarios. I don't remember that. I know because I saw it on the archive that I played you. But,
the thing you put me off though is it's American Germans, not Russian. So
that's right.
Did you say Americans? Okay.
I thought I did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, but it is American. Yes, possibly. But
it's actually really interesting. So I really quite enjoyed it.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah. That's and it's a good scenario. It's balanced and everything. You think?
I think so. Yeah, we were. I mean, our game was very close. Actually, I guess at the very end, it felt like the Americans were in trouble and the Germans were going to win at the very end. But right the way up to the last turn, I think it felt like it was in the balance.
Okay.
I won in the end, but it was it was a good game.
Nice. That's very good. Very good.
I'm also playing Tim Bunce, who I
The
haven't played
return.
for years and years. I haven't made any arrangements with him yet. In fact, I'm ignoring his emails at the moment because I've got a bigger scenario for him. But I'm looking forward to playing Tim.
It was nice to see him. He turned up at Heroes.
Yeah.
Him and Phil. It was brilliant to see them both. And he survived his heart scare, and still holds the politest record for phoning you in an ambulance to cancel his ASL.
That's right. It's one of my favourite ASL stories. But the other thing is that with Tim, we're going to be playing by Vassal, which is you say it's nice to see him. I think it's good to play on Vassal because he's one of the ugliest.
Because you can't smell him and see him. And
if he tries putting his camera on, don't hide it behind the map or whatever.
It was brilliant to see. It was as unpleasant as he is to be with his.
He's grown a beard, hasn't he? He's grown a massive.
We've all grown beards.
Mountain man beard, hasn't he?
Does. He's a man's man, isn't he? And he's become even scarier looking. I think it's because he lives in the wilds of Oxfordshire. I think you got to be careful around there.
Reading. He lives near Reading.
It's pretty much the wilds of Oxfordshire. All those students looking dodgy. He looks scarier now. So
he's a scientist.
I think he works with scientists. I think I think he knows one on TV or something. I don't know. But he is a smart guy. He's a chemist, isn't he? He's Breaking Bad style chemist is what I think he has. Good stuff.
I don't know that he's made drugs illegally.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Legally, he's made them. So we played another frustrating day, which we'll talk about in a bit. We have some sad news to talk about.
So there was a lot on the Advanced Squad Leader Facebook page. There was an announcement about the passing of Ido Giaroni, and there's a lot. If people want to have a look, there are a lot of very touching kind of like comments about Ido, and I'm almost certain that I played Ido quite a few years ago now. Because we had the Vassal League, didn't we? And I think I played him on that. And if he is the guy that I think it is, you're just a real gentleman, a real pleasure to play as well. So very, very sad news. Yeah, for a lot of people, obviously knew him and have good memories of him.
Yeah, it's a real shame. I mean, I noticed on the ASL Bell Tolls kind of sub-thread of the Game Squad forums, and I dread it when I see that like as kind of bold thread, so that something else has been there and. It's one of those things where unfortunately it's kind of seems to be more and more frequent these days.
And they're sort of families, aren't they? Because like Ido is obviously one of the Italian, well-known kind of Italian player. But we had it, didn't we? With the passing.
Gary Trezor, wasn't it? Was one of the more recent ones.
Absolutely. Ian Dalglish was a very moving experience being a part of the community when Ian passed away. Yeah, I mean, people who've known. I mean, people knew much better than I knew him, but people who've known him for years and years.
That's very true.
Yeah,
it's very true. So our thoughts for his friends and family for their
absolutely.
It's. I don't want this to be a regular slot of updating that thread for him.
But it felt right to mention.
Yeah,
that,
no, absolutely.
That news,
No. As in, I didn't want it to be regular. As in, not that we wouldn't announce it in future. More that I hope we don't have to announce anything.
No.
That's that. Big thank you to all our patrons for continued support. We are coming to the end of the final for the tournament this year. We'll be doing that. I think that game hasn't started yet. I'm playing Tomo in I guess the losers winners bracket or something. I don't know. Bracket. You're not playing in this round?
I'm not playing in this round. No.
Okay.
No. There's an odd number, so I dropped out.
That's noble of you, very noble. So we're going to play that. We are playing. Do you remember the scenario name of that? Signal Hill, isn't it? Is it Signal Hill?
Yeah. Signal Hill. Yeah, which I think me and you played a long, long time ago.
Yes. Yeah, British and Japanese. And I've messed up so badly. So poor old Tom said to me, "Okay, we'll play." And so we aimed for Tuesday night, and so we dice for sides or something. We even figured out. So I don't even remember how we figured out. So we figured out sides somehow. And so I got the British, and then
Australians, I think.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, the British counts as. I'll always.
Well, I always make that mistake. Yeah, because it's just the colour, isn't it?
It is. Anyway, so I knew that I had to send him a setup by Sunday because there's some dances with shell holes you have to do, which sounds like the worst film that Kevin Costner could be in, Dances with Shell Holes. Anyway, so I did all these shell holes. I don't know why I'm putting all these shell holes out. I don't understand what I'm doing, but anyway, I'm putting all these shell holes out, and then I thought, well, to save some time, I'll set up my Japanese as well because the Japanese setup, and then sent it back to him and said, look, I've hipped all the Japanese, it's fine. And then poor old Tom was like, Dave, you're the British. So he's waited all this time for me just to put 12 shell holes out or 8 shell holes out or something. So anyway, so he's magnanimously taken the British now, even though he's put all the shell holes to probably help the Japanese out, or the other way around. So anyway, it doesn't matter. We don't know what we're doing. It's a good job we're not in the final because that's not the way to grace our presence with the final. All right. So shall we take a look at the scenario we played? Another frustrating day. Hang on a second. That's not that one. This one. All right. So I believe we are both all synced up. Do you want to talk about the scenario and what's going on? Have you got the scenario?
Yeah. Perhaps I start just by pointing out before everybody notices that I made a mistake. There's these two blocks at the very top are indicating the setup band for the Russians, and you can see that I've set a unit up outside, and it is a real unit as well. So that was a mistake. We missed it on the day.
Why did you decide to cheat? What was the
well, I'm just getting fed up of you sometimes winning games.
Okay,
but this is a very interesting scenario. There's a lot of dummy counters because my side can set up concealed. Actually, I'm Greek, aren't I? It's Greeks.
Yeah, it's allies. Yeah, so I think it just says
It's Greeks and with partisans. The brown represent partisans. They're not Russians. Yeah, but there's a good many concealment counters as well as being able to set up concealed, and you can swap those for Greek or partisan so that you can
right.
But it's not a particularly strong force. So we got nearly all of the Greeks of 437 green troops. There are 2 457s for the backbone, and they've got there's a couple of light machine guns, 2 457s, a couple of leaders, and then you've got lots of these 337 partisans around. So they've got set up in that narrow band, and you can see where the V's are. That's what the Germans have got to capture. I think they've got to have 3 of the 4 buildings at the end.
Yep.
In comparison, the German force is very powerful. Lots of 5.48s, lots of light machine guns and things.
Yeah.
9-2 leader, of course, as you can see there, and 6 turns in order to get to those buildings. Very unique feature of this scenario is that in the first 4 turns, at the end of the German rally phase, the Greeks roll 1 dice and they get a partisan reinforcement that appears on the board. It can be, I think it's on a 1, I think they get a 337, and on 2 to 5 they get a half squad, which is like a 136 or something. Yeah, and then on a 6 they don't get anything. So that's a very interesting, and that's placed. The Greek player chooses one of the sniper counters, and it's placed, in a very very similar way to a sniper activation. So they could end up all over the place. Sorry.
No, exactly that. So what I was going to say to that is that really determined where I put my sniper, because I think usually I would put my sniper very close to the victory conditions. We should mention that although I've got to get 3 of the 4, this one is also a stone building as well. They're all stone buildings.
Yes.
But I deliberately kept my sniper counter as far away from the buildings as possible to stop you being able to use my sniper counter as the kind of the starting point for where the partisans might come from. It's a little bit like...
That is good thinking. I didn't do that at all. Well, actually, I kind of thought it might be quite nice if they were behind, because it might make it difficult for you.
Right, yeah, because you could have put your sniper counter closer to and I think maybe in hindsight that was perhaps the thing to do.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit like urban guerrillas, isn't it, where you have stuff popping up that you're not sure about.
Yeah. But the other feature of this game, which I like, is that you've got significant British reinforcements as well. I think they are actually British. On turn 2, you have got 2.5 squads, and they come in on as we're looking at it, the bottom right, and you might just see there's like a green line. It says 80k. They come on there, which is really interesting, which is why I set up with a little bit of strength in that southern area, because I didn't want you to cut it off and make it impossible for the Brits to get into the victory condition buildings. But the second lot that come on, another 2.5 squads, they come on that red area there on the right-hand side. So they come on actually quite close to the victory condition buildings.
And these guys on turn 2 can't CX on the first turn as well.
Correct. That's right. Yeah.
So, which I guess just slows them down, get into the victory condition buildings.
Yeah.
So that's that. So yeah, I was a bit unsure about how to take this on. I think I was surprised you put as many guys down in the south as you did. I wouldn't have thought about cutting off those reinforcements, because I think you can always sneak them on that last hex. I think you can probably there's probably some some space you can get on there, but you're right to be worried about it. But I think bringing them down there was just going to diversify away from the main buildings. So should we have a look and see how this pans out? So we've got a little bit of okay. So you first get your guy after my rally phase. So you get your partisan squad. You roll a 1. And you get the full squad. We messed up. I think, thanks to me, we messed up the rule for this one to start with. I was thinking it was the nearest building to a sniper counter, and you were correctly saying, but didn't forcefully enough say to me, it was based on a random roll. But we picked it up fairly quickly afterwards. So I think we made one mess up.
In fact, we've just moved him, haven't we?
That's right.
Yeah.
So we ended up here. Which actually, to be fair, might have actually been correct, because it has to go to the nearest building of your choice from the sniper counter. So I think actually it might have even been correct. And that placement is actually pretty awful for me. A full squad turn up there. So let me just turn off those red circles, because nobody wants to see those red circles. So you obviously pretty chuffed with the with the full squad coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And right in the middle of the place where it could actually hold you up.
So a little bit of prep fire.
It actually keeps the whole stack busy, doesn't it? For that whole
exactly.
Turn, really.
I had to prep fire into him, and I opportunity fire the other guys. And the idea is I'm going to jump in. There's some dummies, and then I find
some real units.
Yeah, your full squad here, and lose a half squad straight away. And you give me a hero this time.
Yeah.
But then with the final fire shot. Now this was an interesting question we had to figure out, didn't we? So if you dash into a road and you get bounced back, not only does your dash finish, so you're not dashing anymore, but also you're considered to have spent 2 points in that road hex. So you do get to shoot at me again. So this is like kind of full firepower, if you like. And you get a K result, which kills the hero. Breaks the half squad, and so it's a pretty good start
for me.
So push up towards the
I like the little flanking move there.
And the interesting thing about this map is, although it looks like the top approach will be great, this marsh here in U8 is a real problem, because you want to be kind of jumping off, and I'm sure it's there absolutely deliberately to stop this kind of stuff, but it's really awkward, because it means you either have to come into the road or you take a whole turn just moving slowly through it.
And it's interesting because I thought there was a real unit in R7 that the topmost of my units.
Yes,
but it wasn't. So when you move in, it turns out it was a dummy. But I was obviously thinking of that. I think I was trying to avoid getting trapped behind the marsh. I think.
All right. My perfectly placed opportunity firing stack completely wasted its turn with no targets at all.
So I did feel at this point that 2 big stacks had been able to do very little in this turn. And then I'm looking for like falling back and thinking, you've got these places where you've got the wooden buildings as the only cover.
Yep.
And I thought that's where I'll make my little stand in those places. You can see me sort of stepping back a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very, very intimidating though, having 9-2 leaders facing you.
Yeah, exactly. I think in scenarios, if ever you see like on the last turn, a 9-2 floating around,
Mm.
you generally know, things aren't going to be good.
Yeah.
All right. So your next partisan
I get
guy,
a 1-2-7.
yeah, springs up behind me.
Mm. All he really is doing is giving you something to do, isn't it? It's not
That's right.
it's not a big problem for you.
Right. Yeah. So a little bit more advancing here.
Mm-hmm.
And this looks like a little tough road to cross, really, for me.
Mm.
So I'm not quite sure.
I'm just very conscious, though, you will eventually cross it, and it's difficult to fall back a little bit. I want to think about how I'm going to fall back.
Yeah. So there's dummies there, which obviously
Yeah.
makes that a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Your ELR
we had a few disruptions, actually, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, your 2 ELR is a problem, isn't it? So able to route forward, which is always a good thing. Oh, and this is where we suddenly realise that your guy's up the top of dummies. You're surprised that in R7.
But what it does mean is that the other 2 partisans up there are real.
Right.
So,
okay. So yeah, that's on come the reinforcements.
I kind of feel a little bit like that sort of middle group there. It's almost like a cork in a bottle of fizzy drink or champagne that's trying to get all these powerful German squads coming through.
Right. Yeah.
But then now I'm also starting to think I've got too much force north of. Sorry, not north, at the bottom part of this board.
Yes, they're cut off almost now.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing quite a good job of forcing you to move through the buildings.
Yes.
But they're not in your way.
Right.
Yeah, did best I could to getting the British on.
So here the 9-2 is kind of getting himself into position here.
Yeah.
We're able to kind of pull across the road a bit.
That was a significant break.
Yeah, this break here, and you get a squad goes berserk as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's really my most important unit. That's really gone out of action, really.
Right. Yeah.
And lots of broken units in around.
Yeah, this is one of those horrendous. You've got like the choice here of which open ground hex to run into to face half of the German army.
Yeah.
This guy's going to run. I think we know his fate. So
decide where you're going to die. So it was a KIA, wasn't it?
Yeah, he went for the 9-2 because it was the non-open ground. It was the orchard hex rather than the. It was some ridiculous. Was it 30 down 3 shot, 36 down 3?
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
So I'm very conscious now that I'm relying on these Brits, but I've still got units that can just be a little bit awkward, not stop you, but can just maybe be a little bit awkward. So I'm trying to think about how I can get them involved.
Right.
Because you are going to have to cross that last road, aren't you, to get into the last 2 buildings and stuff.
And the problem you have is that your British are going to end up in the woods here rather than in buildings.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So if I can get some fire on them, I'm kind of.
But I am currently concealed. But of course, then I take that shot.
Right. Exactly.
And it goes reasonably well because it breaks the squad.
Yep.
But that will prove. I hadn't caught on that you had the 9-2 close enough to get into that hex.
So in comes the 9-2.
Yeah.
Takes the task check. Okay.
Yeah.
Lose a half squad, but push in. And now I'm able to get the medium machine guns kind of closer as well.
I'm really hoping to have that light machine gun down here. I think that's. Oh, you can't see my button, can you? I9. You got the light machine gun. That's
right. Yeah, this is the
intrinsic part of my plan to defend.
Yeah, for the fire lane across. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I get a great shot off your on your stack. I think there's a K3 in here.
Yeah.
And it's suddenly everything's broken apart from I think one half squad.
One half squad, yeah.
Yeah, then I think we break and get another break in there. The half squad still survives in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're able to get that machine gun over. And that is a thorn in the side for certain. I've got to get across this somehow.
And I've got at the moment I've got 2 squads in there.
Yep.
I can use those if things go well. I can use those to make life a little bit more difficult for you.
Yeah. Germans can declare hand to hand here, which we decided not to do. And we mop up the partisan squad.
But I think you were almost certain to win that close combat even without hand to hand, weren't you?
Yeah.
Hand to hand just makes it more risky for you.
That's right. We did have an interesting moment here with the prisoners. These prisoners, there's a prisoner that with a broken guy at some point, and we've got there will be some craziness going on there in a minute. So you prep into here. Not what's going on. Pulling back. So we final fire into this stack here. And don't do an awful lot. I think pinned the machine gun guys.
Yeah. And that's it. That's the breaks.
Yeah, and then managed to take the shot from these guys here.
Yeah. And then I was starting to think this looks difficult now.
That's right.
Surprisingly, this 337 actually manages to
this guy here was a little bit
relevant.
Problem. So because the problem I've got here is I've got a 337 in this. I don't particularly worry about this, but these guys he would really rather get across the road and up.
Yeah.
And we know this is a 437. So that road is a bit problematic. I don't really have. I could send these guys back to try and deal with him, but I think you're just going to ignore him if I do send them back.
Yeah.
And so I have a problem. You end not getting the last partisan squad. You rolled a 6, didn't you, on that one?
That's right. Yeah.
So it's at this point now I kind of got a bit stuck really knowing what to do.
You have got 2 turns though, haven't you?
That's right. Yeah. So you've got I think you've got a squad and a machine gun, and you've got a half squad, I think, up here.
Yeah. So the top one is a squad. The second one down is a squad with a light machine gun.
Right.
And below that, I've got a half squad with a light machine gun, the 9-1 leader. Everything else is half squads. Yeah.
Right. So it's definitely not pleasant crossing this road. It's not. I think I've got enough guys. So I was thinking, okay, well, I'm going to get across and throw some smokes. My first idea was, okay, well, maybe I'm just going to assault move and throw smoke.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my initial plan here. Come across, you fire.
Yeah. Doesn't do anything. Leaves some residual.
The problem is with the residual. Suddenly, if I put smoke out, it's a 2-down-1, and the issue here is that right now I'm definitely going to be able to advance into that building if I survive it. Yeah. So now I don't want to throw smokes because I don't want to risk the residual.
So that's a fire lane, isn't it? We just put them all out,
And I get fairly lucky on the morale, but again, it ain't morale, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's what they're designed for, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. I get into this area here, which is not that crucial, but it's obviously just going to help. The medium machine guns get lined up to jump in with the thing. Here, I'm just trying to generate some fire for you. I think my idea is if I can get some fire off of you, and if you do break me, then fair enough. But it just kind of stops. And in theory, I was going to free these guys up to be able to move a little bit more cleanly. But a break with the prisoners here and the pinned leader.
That was a surprise,
Yeah, it is.
And they were fanatics as well.
So then I decide to put another squad in to try and help with the prisoners. Those guys break.
Yeah, I mean it's remarkably successful for a relatively weak unit.
Yes.
That's squad in 3.
Yeah.
It's even virtually an open ground, is it? There was no TM anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So this time I have to bring these guys in just to try to help this out. A little bit of final fire.
Yeah,
What is going on? bit of advancing fire, and we break the half squad there. And pin you.
Okay.
Pulling the prisoners back here. Now at this point, it's interesting to note. So they're still possessed by the broken guys, but if I don't get someone in there, they will attack their guards or attempt to attack their guards. So to pull some more guys back into here, and then we get into the building. So currently now I have the 3. You need to win one back.
So I've got a counter attack.
That's right. You go berserk with one of your rally.
Yeah.
Now here's an interesting question. A little bit of prep fire that doesn't do very much. The berserk guy now has to charge his nearest person he sees, which we think is this guy here, the 468 along the hex span. So he has to use bypass if he's able to.
Yeah.
So he uses bypass here, and at this point he spots this guy. Now the question is, we know it's only one movement point to go around the bypass, but because he's already spent one movement point coming down here, we weren't sure whether he's going to have to spend another one in bypass to come through here, or whether he can continue using the one that he's already spent on this part of the bypass.
Yeah.
So I'm not convinced we got that right. I don't know exactly that rule. So if anyone knows that rule about how to interpret
that would be interesting. I mean, it's in this situation, it doesn't really matter, does it? I suppose, because how many times you could fire at me.
Yeah, exactly that. So when the residual hits you as well, that was the thing. Because obviously, so to take some shots here at you.
Yeah.
And there's some residual in there. Now we know that the residual is going to be helped by the building, even though you're not in the building, which is that bypass kind of quirk.
And then you start rolling low, and then you got and then you roll a 4. Okay.
But that was you. You rolled a 4.
That's
you
me.
Yeah. You can recognize.
In, don't I? That's right.
Yeah, you can recognize those dice rolls by the less than 5. I'm just used to. I think your avatar on things should be like Martin Barker, like a 1 and a 3 next to it or something.
Yeah.
But
I don't play scenarios where my opponent's sniper is 4. Activate the sniper almost every time.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we couldn't remember there if berserks take pins, but anyway, you were absolutely fine regardless. So just rolled it just in case. A little bit more shooting, you get in to the hex, and I managed to finally break you, and obviously casually reduce you there, so you are gone. Now the whole point here is I didn't want to fire this stack here, which I knew would have done a good job, because if I can break this one squad here, then I win the game effectively, because you can't get anyone in it. So you do a little bit of running around, and you run this green squad all the way down Death Alley, with absolutely no problems at all. In goes the leader who breaks, and then we have.
So that's that's it. I'm done.
This stack here, whatever it is, 26 or something, 24. Flat breaks and wins the game, because you can't now get anybody back into.
That's right.
Into this hex here, so winning the 3 buildings. That was a really good scenario, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Could I hang on a sec? Could I have moved? Have I moved the guys in AA9 yet?
In AA9,
it's a half squad with a 9-1 leader.
No, but I think they have to go. Oh well, it doesn't look like we have. Well, look, listen. If you want to play this out right now, we'll play it out right now live.
Let's do it.
If you want to.
I mean, I can see, because you haven't fired the 9-2 yet, have you?
No, I think I have fired the 9-2.
Oh, you have. Okay, all right. Surely I've moved them. Okay, all right. Let's try it. Okay.
So
2 to there.
Okay.
4 to there.
All right.
4 down. 4 up 1.
4 up 1. Okay. All right. There's a pin check.
Okay. Leader. Pins. Squad. Doesn't, or the half squad doesn't. Okay. Right. Any final fire?
No, because I think these guys have final fight here. I think the first fight.
Advances then.
All right, so you're going to advance in.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, and I've got to advance these into here, haven't I? Do I just move them all in together?
Sure.
I don't know. Might be nice to have them in a different location. Okay, so that's it. That's my advances.
All right. Okay. So then we have an ambush.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just remove all this. Okay.
I've rolled a 4.
Okay.
No modifiers. I should have advanced him as well. And him to there.
All right.
And him to there.
Okay.
There's no ambush?
No.
Okay, so I'm 1 to 2. So
okay.
I don't kill you. And I think that's the game over, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had the joy of winning that scenario twice.
By killing you.
Do you know what? There might have been a reason why they couldn't do that. Because it feels odd that we both missed that.
No, it's that's what you get. Live game ending.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So, but I mean, it was a good scenario.
It was a good game. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. That's
yeah.
So now it's probably worth mentioning how you picked that scenario.
Yes, absolutely. So I looked at the ASL Scenario Archive, which has a list of the current most popular games being played, and I think this might have been the second one because Guriev's Headquarters was the first one. Obviously, possibly because of us.
Yeah.
So again, I thought that's kind of quite interesting to look at and to see what's trending at the moment, if you like, in the ASL world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it came from Journal 14. Martin, have you bought Journal 14 yet?
No. So I was going to pick it up in Blackpool.
Yeah.
Is that just naughty? Should I just order it?
That's up to you. I mean, I think you'll put. Yeah. I mean, it's going to come from the same people, I would imagine. Second Chance.
Well, that's true. That is actually true. Yeah.
Right. I guess we should point out again. I mean, we'll always say this: if you know or you're in contact with any publishers or you want us to highlight anything, let us know. We're always happy to try and play something either pre-published or as long as you're happy for us to show it. We can give someone some.
I think what would work really well if somebody was about to sort of like bring out a new product and they wanted to perhaps send us a scenario from it, if that's what they were comfortable doing, and we could talk about the product, talk about release dates or whatever, and play the scenario that you're suggesting.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be good to do that. It's great to be able to play scenarios that people are playing and everything, but sometimes it's nice to be able to preview something. So obviously we would give it our, premium play style approach.
Absolutely.
I think we're the everyman of the ASL world. We just play like the average player.
Yes, it's really difficult. I have to sort of play down to sort of make sure that I'm only average quality.
Yes, and I want to thank you for that as well, because sometimes you do that job a little bit too well. Let me tell you. All right. Anything else, Martin? Anything else going on? Oh, I have a question for you. Asked by one of our patrons, and I've been meaning to ask this for a few weeks. And I keep forgetting to ask you. There are 3 ASL tournaments in the UK. And they each have their, we've talked about Heroes, and I'm going to forget one of them, and there is Bound in Fire's one. What's the one in March called? Intensifier, is it? I can't remember.
No.
Is that Heroes? That's Heroes. Heroes double one and Bound in Fire.
Yeah.
So they have slightly different takes on it, and so I think the one in March in Blackpool is your more standard kind of tournament. Choice of 3. Pete Phillips picks some often kind of classic scenarios, some tournament scenarios, puts them up front to start with. You play, I think, 5 rounds over 3 or 4 days, I think 3 days. And then double one is your group. They kind of put them into groups. This is Morris and Gary put players into their groups of roughly similar ability, and you play in like a group, and you play 3 scenarios. There's often a blind scenario in there as well. And then Bound in Fire, which is Simon Staniforth, and I think Martin Mayers did it. But
Andy
Bagley?
Andy Bagley as well is helping organise it, because Martin Mayers stepped back. In fact, you've got an email from him.
Oh, okay. All right. good stuff. So Andy, a friend of the show, Andy and Simon
Absolutely.
and Gary are
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
Morris are all supporters of the show. So they do, and what they do in there is play scenarios that are pre-published to help with playtesting and things like that. So one of the patrons asked, if you only just go to one tournament in the UK, which one would you go to? I gave him my answer, but I'm interested in your answer. If I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to any of the others, but the reason I would choose the one in the summer, double one, is partly because it's really, really quite close to me, and it's in the summer, because it's just such a lovely atmosphere with the nice weather, and it's much more outdoor. Whereas the ones in Blackpool, obviously, we're in a hotel kind of thing, aren't we? Often a bit windy and cold outside, sort of thing. Yeah. So I think I like it for that reason. In terms of ASL, I don't know that it really matters. I mean, are you asking if I prefer the different formats that you've just described?
No, I mean, I think some people look at it and think, okay, well, I'll come to the UK just to play, to get an ASL game at all. It's a good excuse to go to the UK. So, if let's assume that.
I think if you're coming to the UK for a tournament, I would go to that one because you get to go and stand outside quaint English pubs in a relatively rural set, well, a sort of small town sort of setting, on beautiful summer's evenings with if you've got any luck. I think it's probably the nicest experience and the most sort of English type of experience. Of course, all the tournaments are in England. That's what I'd recommend.
And if it had to do it from an ASL perspective, so that seemed to be everything not about ASL.
You see, to me, it doesn't matter, right? So to me, entering a tournament, it's just a way of selecting people to play each other who they don't necessarily, don't necessarily play. They're not your regular opponent necessarily, and to play a scenario. So it's just an excuse to sit down with somebody new or not even necessarily new, but play some ASL. Yeah. So I don't think it matters. I don't. They could pull our names out with bingo balls, or they could do anything they want really, as long as we get a nice game to play, and decent chat with somebody over a game of ASL. That's what it's all about for me. So I don't really care.
Better food in Blackpool?
The food is nice in Blackpool. It's certainly improved, doesn't it? The food is fine, and it's reasonably priced. I think last time I was there, basically I was there from Wednesday till Sunday, and it only really cost me just over £200, and that included drinks and things. I didn't have loads, but I was certainly buying drinks at the bar. Yeah. And that's a bit frightening. You don't, because you're not paying for that. It's going on your room, as you don't know how much it's going to add up to. So I didn't think it was extortionately expensive. In terms of value, I mean, the food isn't as good in Essex, double one, but it's largely free or included with the accommodation. So in fact, the double one is an incredibly inexpensive tournament to go to. I think it's £40 a night now. Is it? Might not even be quite as much as that.
Very similar.
Something like that. But you're getting a substantial number of meals included with that. Yeah. Obviously, Blackpool, they have, it's bed and breakfast, so your accommodation includes breakfast. But with the double one, they have the pizzas which are bought from the fee. So we get a load of pizzas, mind you. It looks like a lot of pizza, but there's a lot of big guys there, isn't it? It's there's people having 3 pizzas each, so it soon goes. There's the curry night, which I think is only £10, isn't it? We eat for £10, so it's very, very good value. If you're just looking at money, I'd go to double one.
Good stuff. Oh, excellent. Good. Okay, well, I'm glad there's lots to think about for tournaments.
Yeah.
But
what did you say?
I think I'm struggling to remember now. I think I said March because I think it was like a more of a standard tournament experience. But you're absolutely right that in terms of if you had to live somewhere for the rest of your life, probably in the summer in Essex rather than in the winter in Blackpool, probably pick that. Yeah. Obviously, the Scottish guys come down for a holiday. They're loving the weather because it's the south coast of them, so they enjoy it. But I think you also get there's more people from the UK. I think there's stronger players as well in Blackpool.
That's true. I think
there is that. If you are focused,
I always do very well in the tournament at Essex and really badly in the tournaments in Blackpool.
If you are playing, if you want to come to test your ability as UK players,
so they're probably the big prestige wins. If you're going to win a tournament, that would be the place to do it, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I've forgotten to put Toby's content in. We've got some content from Toby that's going to come next time, so look out for that. We will do that one. I have to shoot off because I've got something to be like now, so I have to love you and leave you. But good game this time, Martin. Enjoyed it.
I thought it was a very enjoyable game. Yeah,
good scenario. Nice one. We should mention it was designed by Simon Spinetti and Andy Rogers. So good job, guys. Good job. All right, thanks very much. See you all soon. We might play. I've got an idea. We might try and talk you into a campaign game of some Mary Glees. So, I want to see your reaction to that.
I like the idea. It's just a big commitment, isn't it?
Is it?
You know, back in the rules, read, studying, thinking, trying to work out if I buy this lot, I'm not going to be able to afford the gun. Yeah.
Have a think about it.
Yeah.
And you guys will find out next time. All right, good stuff. Okay, until then, cheers. Thanks a lot.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Hello, Martin. Welcome to episode 93, Illuminating Rounds. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. Yes, how are you?
Good, but we need headphones.